When interacting with other human beings, communication is critical. It's the same with our canine companions. We know dogs can learn words and hand signals as long as we don't expect too much of a vocabulary to be absorbed. If you want to get a person's attention, it's best to know their name. Similarly, if your dog doesn't know the name you've given him, the commands you'll be using after viewing this tape won't be nearly as effective. Dogs come in an amazing variety of breeds, characteristics, sizes, shapes, temperaments, and disposition. No matter. As long as your dog can see and hear, the techniques you'll learn in the next few minutes will greatly improve your relationship with your dog. Perhaps you don't necessarily need your buddy to jump through hoops for you. Simply getting your dog to come when called would be nice. Nothing's more frustrating than having your dog not respond to the command to come. It could put your dog in danger, waste time and energy by having to chase it down, not to mention it's just plain embarrassing. If you're worried about your dog running off all the time, you're less likely to trust him enough to give him the freedom he needs. Maybe you thought the commands sit and stay were completely out of the question. Does your dog bite, chew on things you don't want him to chew on, jump up on you and anyone else who gets near him? Well, give your close attention to Sandy Butler. Sandy has successfully taught hundreds of people to train their dogs. We've invited a few problematic dog owners to the Western Safari Ranch near Como, Colorado. In this beautiful setting, we'll share with you some important tips. Now, Sandy Butler.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to show you how to make yourselves very happy and also to make your dog very happy, I hope. And if you'll just do a couple very, very easy things that I'm going to teach you, then we're going to work with your dogs as soon as we get done. And I feel that everybody's going to have a dog that's going to be doing what they want. The first thing that you must always do is always be consistent. I mean always be consistent on what I'm going to tell you. Because if you are not consistent, then you may as well not even be here. But if you are consistent, you will have a dog that will work for you. And, I mean, never change it. Always say the same things. This is not a training where you have to go outside, work with your dogs for 20, 30 minutes a day. You're going to be just doing this while you're living. If you're on the telephone, your dog is doing something wrong, you'll talk to him then. But it's nothing that you have to go out and do lots of training. I want you to use always 2 words. You must always say the dog's name first. Then you say a 1-word command, such as Fido come, Fido go, Fido stay, Fido anything. But you do not want to say Fido come here, Fido stay there, Fido go away. It must always be 2 words. And the reason for that is Fido, which we will use during the training, will get your dog's ears open. Whenever you say the dog's name, they will hear it. Then you say a 1-word command. If you say, come Fido, then you've lost it completely. Because then you've said the dog's name, and your dog will hear its name, but he's lost the command. If you say the name first, again, I'm going to repeat this over and over and over to you before you're done. You must say the dog's name first. If you say the dog's name first, he will hear his name, then he will hear the command afterwards. And does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Another thing that you always want to do when you're talking to your dog is you want to look into your dog's eyes as much as possible. You must look right into their eyes. Of course, if they're across the street, you can't look into their eyes. But if your dog is there, you want to look into your dog's eyes, and you want to use your finger for pointing. And when you look into your dog's eyes, your dogs are paying attention to you. Have you ever gone to the vet and you get there and your dog puts their head underneath your arm? What they're trying to tell you is, I can't see the vet. The vet can't see me. The vet can't hurt me. So if you're giving your dog a command and your dog is looking over here, such as stay, which is our hardest command to do, and you're telling him to stay and your dog is looking this way, your dog is telling you, I'm not going to mind you, and he won't. You must have your dog look at you, especially on commands such as stay. Use your finger point to them. If you want him to come here, you go, Fido, come. If you want him down, Fido, down. And use definite arm movements. Use your finger, use your arm. If you want him to go, say you're home for the evening and you're sitting there with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and you've been playing with your dog all night. Your dog is on the couch. Some people allow their dogs on the couch, some don't. And, you know, you just want to just talk to your husband, or you just want to sit there and read a book. You just want your space. That's all you want. And your dog is sitting there and your dog is driving you crazy, keeps dropping balls in your lap and whatever. All you have to do is look at your dog and say, Fido, go. Just take your finger, make a definite go. You must have a little bit of oomph in your voice when you do talk to your dogs. That is very, very important. If you just go, Fido, come, Fido's not going to come. If you say, Fido, go, Fido's not going to go. But if you, again, it's okay to let your dog on the couch if it is okay with you. It's okay to let your dog in the bed if it's okay with you. Some people it's fine, some people it's not. But if you want your dog off, you must tell your dog, Fido, go, Fido off, Fido down, whatever you want. But make a definite movement with your arm. Does everybody understand that? One thing that I never believe in is to abuse a dog. I do not believe in ever laying a hand on a dog for any reason whatsoever. Now, if your dog is chewing on something, say he's chewing on your couch, if you have a brand new puppy and he's chewing on your couch, go over to your couch, put your hand on the couch and hit the couch and go, Fido, no, Fido, no, Fido, no, Fido, no. And then pick up a toy and put it in your dog's mouth and say, Fido, good, Fido, good. Use your own words. It doesn't have to be the words that I'm using. I use these words because they're the words that I use for my dogs. I used to have a list that I gave to everybody with all the commands on them, but everybody has their own commands. My commands may not work with you, so you don't have to necessarily take the words that I'm saying and use them for yourself. I feel the most important words that you can say to a dog is come, because you always want your dog to come when you call him. Come is, I feel, a very good word. No is something they understand very, very fast. You can say, if he's chewing on something, you can go over and say, Fido, no. You can say whatever you want to say, but don't hit your dog. Hit the object. Everything is positive. We're teaching a positive training. We never use negative, because negative is going to make your dogs balk at everything. So always do everything positive. Tell them they're good when they do something, such as if you're teaching them a new trick. You always want to give them, take a bag of dog biscuits, take a hammer, just break those dog biscuits up to pieces that are the size of a kernel of corn. I don't care if you have a 200-pound dog. It makes no difference. That's all you need is just a very small little piece. That's all that you need to give your dog. But every time that you teach your dog a new trick, such as today, or if you're trying to teach your dog tomorrow to shake hands or anything, you must, when your dog does what you want, you must give your dog a treat. Tell him that he is a good boy. Jump up and down if you have to. Get real excited. Let your dog know he or she is being good. After all, I mean, dogs are here to make us happy. That's what they're here for. And there's people that beat their dogs, and their dogs are still, I mean, they still love the owner, which makes me sick. But, you know, always give your dog a treat when they are learning a new trick. For the first day, every time he sits, if you tell him to sit, give him a little piece of cookie. The next day, give him one every other time. Next day, give him one every 3 times. But any new trick, always treat him. If you have more than one dog, this is another thing that I feel is important. Say you have 3, 4 dogs, and you're in your kitchen and you're cooking dinner. And you don't care if your dogs are in there for the first 2 hours while you're cooking, but then it's time to serve, and gosh, you're getting really busy and you're running around like crazy and your dogs are all over the floor, and you want them out of there. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4 dogs, you can look at one, you can say, Fido, out. Fido will get up and Fido will leave. But the other 3 are going to sit there. You're going to have to say Fido out, Alice out, Morris out, Cowboy out. You're going to have to tell all your dogs to leave in that way. If you tell 3 of them to leave, 3 will leave, and the 4th one will stay. They're not going to leave until you say their name. Dogs do not like to go when you tell them to go. You can tell a dog, Fido, go. Fido's going to take one step. You have to say it again, Fido, go. Fido's going to take one more step, and so on and so forth. But that's one way to get your dog to go out of the room. You don't have to bodily go pick him up and take him into another room and lock him up. He should be able to understand your commands by just saying, Fido, go. Please ask questions if you have any.
Sandy, what do I do about a dog that continues to jump up at?
Yeah. If your dog jumps up on you or your children, all you want to do just instantly is you want to say, Fido, down. And I mean say it loud. Say it with some expression. Make sure he understands what you're saying. And say it again, Fido, down. And then go over and get a toy and give it to him. And reinforce your dog with his toys. Let him know he's supposed to be playing with his toys and not with your children's arm or jumping up on somebody that is walking into your home. Make sure and keep your toy box in the same spot all the time. All you need is a little cardboard box. You don't have to go out and buy a expensive box. Just anything where you can keep the toys. One way that you can get toys that you don't have to go and spend a fortune all the time is to go to garage sales. I don't know if any of you like to go to garage sales, but if you're like me, you probably love it. Go to the flea market and go get yourself things like this that you can get for $0.25. The dogs love pushing things around like this. They just think they're just a lot of fun to play with. You can get this for $0.25 or a nickel or a dime or whatever. And the very best toy to me is, almost all of us wear jeans, and we know somebody that wears jeans. And what you want to do is cut off the leg, put a knot in the middle, and give it to your dog. They make great pull toys. They make good toys for fetching. I don't care how big your dog is. They just last for a long, long time. They're just the least expensive toy that you can possibly buy. And just make sure and have a toy box just for your dogs. Yes, they're going to take their toys out. They're going to throw them around the house just like children do. So you just pick them up, put them back in the box at night or 10 times a day or whatever. But if you have a place for your dog's toys that they can always go get, you're going to have a lot happier dogs. They're never going to touch your things. They're going to touch their own toys. I am very much for dog doors. I am very much for fences. I hate it when I see a dog that's chained up. And it's just that I don't feel that you can ever really train a dog that is chained up all the time. They're going to be too wild. They're going to jump and they're going to run. When you get them off the chain, what are they going to do? They're just going to run and run and run and run. So if it is at all possible to put a dog door someplace, I just believe the freer that you can make your dog, the happier he's going to be. And if he's happy, aren't you going to be happy? If he's not running your house and doing what you want and working on commands, very, very easy commands that you're not out there having to train all day, that you're just doing as you're living, isn't that a pretty easy way to do it? Well, I feel we're ready to start working with the dogs. I'm going to tell you a lot more things while we're working with the dogs that come up. What are your main problems with your dog?
We want to train her to stop chewing on the furniture.
Okay.
To stay with us and not run away if she's not on a leash.
Okay.
We want her to sit, stay, come.
Okay. Come is, I feel, is your very most important word for communication. You want to start with come?
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you remember what I was telling you when I was talking, how to, excuse me, to say the two words only and use your hand? Make sure and let her know where you want her to come. Raise your hand all the way up and put it all the way down to where you want her to come. Say two words only. The first time to get her to come might take a couple times. This is a very large area in here, but she will come.
Okay.
Okay? Why don't you try it?
Ginger, come.
Raise your arm.
Ginger, come.
Say it real loud. Say it with...
Ginger, come.
And give her a cookie.
Good girl. Good girl.
And get excited with her. Very important to let her know how happy you are. Let her know how happy. We'll work with come for a minute before we work with something else.
Come. Good girl. Good girl.
Get excited. Get really excited with her. Let her know how good she is. That's great.
Good girl.
Very good. Now just kind of let her go off.
Ginger, come.
Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, good girl. Good sweetheart. When you want your dog to sit, what you do is you say, Ginger, sit, and sit her down. Good girl. And give her a cookie. Give her a cookie. Good girl, because that's a new trick. Okay, do you have that? Now you do it, because she's your dog and she's not going to mind me.
Okay.
Let her stand up for a minute and then tell her,
Ginger.
go from her, sit. Ginger, sit. Good girl. And look her in the eye. When you're telling her, point in front of you where you want her to sit and look her in the eye. So she, Ginger, sit. Good girl. Good girl. And then Ginger, sit. Good girl. See, it's getting easier.
Good girl.
Okay, now to get her to stay, what you want to do is you want to look at her, and you want, this is the hardest command of all. Look into her eyes, and you almost have to growl when you get her to stay. You have to use a growling voice. Fido, stay. Fido, stay. And you say that 4 or 5 times, looking right at her and pointing to her eyes, pointing to her face. Do not move until you've said it 4 or 5 times with that type of your, with your voice being very stern. Then, very slowly, start taking steps backwards. Okay. And the first couple times, you don't want to go all the way to the fence or anything. Just go back a little bit. Okay. And if you get her to stay even for 5 seconds, 5 seconds is a long time the first time. Then say, Ginger, come, give her a cookie. Ginger, stay. Ginger, stay. Ginger, stay. Keep saying it. Ginger, stay. Ginger, stay. Ginger, stay. That's long enough for the first time. Ginger, come.
Ginger, come.
That's very good for the first time. Very good. If you can make yourself, the next time you do it, not move until you've told her, Ginger, stay 4 or 5 times in that same spot, and try to make definite eye contact with her so that you know that she is listening to you before you move, and then start moving a little bit at a time. And then every time you do it with her, you can get back a little bit further, make her stay a little bit longer. You can start going in other rooms. You can do whatever you want. Okay. But for the first couple times, don't go too far, because you're teaching her. That is the hardest trick of anything to teach a dog that I have found is stay.
Before, she would never come to me when I called her, no matter what I said to her, how I worded it. She would just tear off and go wherever she wanted as she pleased. Since we've been working with her the short time this afternoon, she will actually come to me when I call her, and it's a big improvement. I'm real impressed.
Why don't you let him go, honey? Let him run. I don't train him on a leash. I train him off the leash. Wait and see. If he doesn't work with Anthony, then we'll bring you in. But usually your male dogs, 99% of the time, will work better with the female. And the female dogs work better with the males. Yeah. What problems do you seem to be having?
I think the main problem that we've been having with Trooper is that he runs away. You know, we let him out to go to the restroom or something, and he'd take off, and we'd call him, and he'd just keep on going. You know, he wouldn't stop.
What did you say, before today when he was running?
Pretty much we just say, Trooper, come on back, and things like that.
Okay.
And sometimes he responds, sometimes he doesn't. It depends on how he's feeling that day.
What we need is to get him to respond every time.
Yeah.
And call him as loud as you feel comfortable to call him. And say, Trooper, come.
Trooper, come.
Get the cookies out.
Come on, Trooper.
Trooper, come.
Trooper, come.
Say it loud.
Trooper, come.
Okay, say it again.
Trooper.
Wait, let him drink. Okay, now say it.
Trooper, come. Looks like he's going to respond to Mommy.
Well, I'm wondering if he's going to.
I don't know.
He keeps going over to her. Do you think we should get her to come in? What I want you to do with him is to use a definite movement in your arm, with your arm and your finger. I want you to say it as loud as you can, Trooper, come. And say it with a lot of oomph, and as much as you can get in your voice. And at least the first couple times, you might have to do it from now on for the rest of his life. You might be able to just calm down with your voice tomorrow. But some dogs, you have to do it the entire time. Plus, I also feel if you can get yourself a fence and let him out and let him be free, he's going to mind you so much better. And I mean, it's just, the more a dog is free, the better they mind you. And it's just, that just makes a lot happier dogs. Okay, go ahead.
Trooper, come. Trooper, come.
And make a big deal.
Come on. Oh, that's so good. What a good. Trooper, come. What a good guy. Trooper, come. Good guy. What a good guy. Oh.
Trooper, come. Trooper, come.
Whoever.
Trooper, come.
Good boy. Now see if you can get him to sit. And if he's never done it, just Trooper sit. Okay, now when you start letting him do it on his own without pushing him down, take your hand and go like this in front of you. Trooper, sit. Do you understand? So you let him know that's what you want him to do. Okay, now call him back over to you.
Trooper, come. Good boy. Good boy. Trooper, sit. Good guy.
See?
Good guy. What a smart baby. What a good guy.
Very easy. If you use the words they understand, all you're doing is communicating.
Trooper, come. Good boy, good boy. Good boy. What a good guy. Trooper, sit. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. No. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. Trooper, stay. Trooper, come.
Very good. Very good, Trooper. Very good. That was excellent. That was excellent. And then when you do it the next time, you can do it a little bit longer. But don't make it real long the next time. Still make it short for a while. And again, don't practice this over and over and over and over. You want to just do it a little bit at a time. You don't have to go home and make this a job. Don't make this a job. Make it fun.
Well, he's responding beautifully. We had another collie we took through a program that was a lot more the traditional dog training method. They had the choke chain, the leash. You snap the leash. Collies don't respond well to that. They can't be handled roughly. That dog didn't do well. Trooper's doing beautifully, and we've only had him out here a half hour. He's doing great.
Well, right now, the one that I'd like to work on the most is for him to stay when I've walked away from him.
Okay.
That seems to be a big bone of contention between the two of us.
All right.
That one is what I'm most interested in.
Does he come to you when you call him?
Most of the time, but not
all the
always.
time.
Not consistent.
Okay, we'll work on that also. We'll work on both of them. If you can get them, what you need to do and everything that we're going to do today is, you need to be consistent. I will say that over and over and over. Be consistent on everything that you do with him. Say your 2 words. It's Fido stay, Fido come, Fido whatever. Use your arms like we were talking about before. And I think, before we get him to stay, we're going to have to get him to come.
Hey, come.
Say it a little louder.
Rocky!
We're going to have to get everybody to move.
No.
Come. Come. Just let him go.
Say, Rocky, come again.
Rocky, come.
Right. Make a big deal out of it. Big deal. Give him a piece of cookie. Give him a piece of cookie. You've got a very intelligent breed right there. Okay, go now.
Rocky. Rocky, come. Rocky, come.
Come. Rocky, come. Rocky, come. Oh, the good boy. Rocky, come. Rocky, come. What a good boy you are. Now raise your arms. Just do it again.
Rocky, sit.
Good boy. Yes, right now, start.
Stay.
Rocky,
Stay. Rocky, stay. Rocky, stay.
Say it faster. One.
Rocky, stay. Rocky, stay. Rocky, stay. Stay. Rocky, stay. Rocky,
Okay.
stay.
Now call him. That's good enough for the first time.
Rocky, come, Rocky,
Rocky,
come.
come. Rocky, come.
Rocky, come.
Good boy. That's for the first time. That was very good.
Rocky, sit. Sit. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Yeah.
Okay. Now start.
Rocky, stay. 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 Stay. Rocky, 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 stay.
Oh.
Rocky, stay.
Uh-uh.
What are we doing? Sit. Rocky, sit. Rocky, sit.
See, that's just a little bit too far. That was tremendous for the second time. That was incredible. Morris, come. Morris, sit. Morris, stay. As you can see, this is a very important command because this is something that you're going to be able to use all the time. If you want him to go into a room while you're eating your dinner, you don't have to worry about him coming out and bothering your guests. If you want to go into a store and leave him out there just for a short time, I wouldn't do it for a long time, you can leave your dog. If you're taking a walk and a small child is afraid, but yet you want to go talk to the family, you can tell your dog to stay. There's just many times that you need to do it. And it's a very easy command to teach if you practice it every once in a while, just as you're living. Morris, come! Good boy. Good.
Sarah, stay.
Use your finger.
Stay. Sarah, stay. Sarah, come. Good.
Very good.
That's a good girl. You're a good dog. Sandy believes any dog, regardless of its age, can be taught these commands. A few new tricks didn't bother this older dog.
Bridget, come. Bridget, come. Bridget, sit.
Your peeping hand. Or, you don't have hands. Okay, go ahead and start with this.
Bridget, stay. Stay. Bridget, stay. Bridget, stay. Bridget, come.
All right, that was very good. And she's never stayed.
The main problem the owner of this puppy has is one of jumping.
I know you'll cringe when I tell you this, but we've put our knee up when she's come to us because, well, at the time, down didn't seem to help.
Well, okay, but now, from now on, don't use any type of force because you're using negative. I mean, you want to keep it positive all the time. The jumping is very, very easy. If she's jumping on you, the second she starts to do it, you take your hand, and again, you always use a lot of motion in your hand because that's a very good way of communicating with your dog. And it's just another way besides the two words that you use. Use your hands all the time for communication. And when she starts to jump, raise your hand and go, "Pearl down," and say it with a very strong voice. Make sure that it is a strong voice. Don't just say "Pearl down," because Pearl's not going to do a thing for you. If at all possible, if you can look into her eyes when you're doing it, even will mean more. But of course, it's not always possible when they're jumping.
Yeah.
But just raise your hand. Don't just go "Pearl down." Raise your hand, go "Pearl down." And then after she does it for a while, you won't have to keep raising your hand. Maybe you will. I can't answer that, but she will get down the first time you say it.
And we, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, one of the other problems we have is, and this probably relates with that command, is she'll jump on the counters. Now she's tall enough, she can get to the counters and to the kitchen table.
Okay.
So same thing, curl down.
Down, and then, but you don't stop there. When it comes to kitchen and comes to where you keep your food, go over to your kitchen counter, put your hand on that kitchen counter, and take your other hand and just hit, and keep going, Pearl, no, Pearl, no, Pearl, no. And then you go, Pearl, down, and then give her a treat. Let her know that she's good. But don't let her get up on that counter. Don't let her, she's not jumping up on it, is she?
No.
So she's just going over and putting her feet up?
Yeah.
Well, hit the counter. Don't hit her. Hit the counter and tell her, Pearl, down. And don't take out the cookie until after she's done it. Then give her a little treat and let her know that she did the right thing. Then go give her her food. Go show her where her food is and say, Pearl, good.
A dog's personality can certainly play a part in its training, and the breed can affect personality. This Great Pyrenees, for example, is very mellow and won't hurry for anything.
Miranda, come!
Say it again.
Miranda, come! Miranda, come! Miranda, come! Good girl. Good, Miranda.
I promise you she will get much faster.
An extreme opposite, this Rottweiler cross is a bit on the hyperactive side. Getting her to stay may be asking a little too much, at least until the dog calms down or perhaps mellows with age.
Stay.
Oh, come on. When I first got her, it was just kind of a fluke because somebody had told me that she was going to be destroyed because she was uncontrollable. And she's only 2.5 years old. I just couldn't see that, the dog would, had that serious a problem that she needed to be destroyed.
You were talking about how she bit you twice?
Yeah, I don't know if it was because the other dogs were around and she felt threatened or, what the reason was, but I was just sitting on the chair one evening and she came over and she jumped up on me and I pushed her down and she just grabbed my hand and, I bit down hard enough to break skin.
Oh, no kidding.
And then another time she just kind of grabbed my arm and wouldn't let go.
Okay.
She, had a tight enough grip, but didn't break the skin that time.
Well, what you want to do, if she ever does that again, which I pray she never does, I hope that, by you learning to communicate with her, which we're doing now, and you continue to do this, that she's not going to try that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But if she would do that again, definitely don't let her get away with it. Take your hand and put it on top of her and spank the heck out of your hand. Don't spank her. But I mean, just hit your hand as hard as you can stand it. Don't hurt your hand, but hit it and make it make a lot of noise. If you happen to have a newspaper there or a magazine, use that instead.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't, put your hand on her, and then just hit and hit and hit and just keep saying her name. Just keep saying Fido, no, Fido, no, Fido, no, Fido, no, and hit hard and hard and hard. And if she ever has a hold of your arm, and you don't want her to have a hold of your arm, you go, Fido, no, and make sure she lets go. And that's all you have to say is Fido, no. They know what the word no means, a lot more than you think they do. Say her name first, and then the no, and make sure that she lets go.
Now let's hear from some dog owners who have undergone Sandy Butler's training and are using her words of advice on a daily basis.
Well, how have things been going since I was at your house?
Well, they've really picked up. When I first purchased them, they'd had absolutely no training whatsoever. They weren't house trained. They had no training by the breeder. And I had your little instruction manual taped to my refrigerator. And the first thing I did, I made sure of, was the eye contact, which helped. I never used any harsh treatment, like you suggested. I never hit them or anything like that. You were very dominant when you were giving me the instructions. And I tried to use that same technique, which worked. They are now sitting on command, sitting, staying. We put 2 dog doors in. We have 1 dog door going into our living room, dining room. And we bought them their own couch.
Oh, wow. Boy, are you lucky.
Part of the family.
All right.
Which they really weren't before. They were going to just be outdoor dogs. I convinced my husband. And as far as the training, it went so much easier when they were living and sleeping in the house.
Yeah, well, now that they're freer, it's a lot easier then.
Absolutely.
Now that they have the dog door and a lot more room to run. Right.
Remarkable. The other command I forgot to even mention, one of the most important ones, is no. Just a very dominant, loud no. Applies to any number of things. And the most important thing, of course, chewing shoes or chewing furniture. Never once have chewed furniture.
Right.
Not one single time. Have gotten on the furniture. As I said, I bought them their own couch. But they know theirs, and
they know yours.
Right? They know
right.
ours.
All right.
And they've just come along beautifully.
Rocky was owned by other people, and they were going to put her to sleep, and she was going to die. And her main problem was she just wasn't trained at all. She was just a wild dog. They had her in the out and back their house.
They had her outside. She would jump up on people all the time. We wanted to get her under control.
She basically didn't know anything except for how to eat.
Oh, it was almost an immediate change. It took a little while. You had to work with her for a few days in a row before she actually started to respond, but the training made us more consistent.
Yeah, Sandy helped train us to train our dog so that we could reward her for things that we really enjoyed and ignore her for things we didn't.
And she's very controlled. I mean, if we want her to come into a room and stay in that room, she'll do it. She obeys us whenever we need her to obey us, except when we come out to Safari Ranch and we got a million horses around.
And dogs and other fun things for her to enjoy. Yeah.
But no, it's been night and day, and now she pretty much does whatever we tell her to do.
And we have the confidence. I mean, Sandy gave us the confidence to know that we can train her and train ourselves.
Your dog was tied up. You had to tie her up in the house when you went to bed at night because she was destroying everything. And you had to tie her up. You had a patio on the outside, and you were tying her up out there. Now, it's been quite a few months. Can you tell me if it's any different now?
Well, Java has always been a chewer. As a matter of fact, we have a new verb in our family, which is to javanate, which means destroy by chewing. And when she was little, before you came, we couldn't leave her at all because she was chewing up everything. Since the training, she has stopped chewing up most things. She still loves to get the kitchen sponge. That's one of her last holdouts. But she now plays with her own toys. We have her toy box, and she responds really well to that. We've moved since you've come to our house, and we now have a place with a bigger yard, a nice big fence, and a dog door.
All right.
And that has made a big difference for all of us.
What are some of the things we do with Shadow?
Use hand motion.
What else?
And now we're learning down.
We're learning to give corrections by slapping the object, like if she's trying to get food off the table, to slap the table instead of slapping her. I think she likes it a lot better that way.
And she definitely does better with the hand motions and the command.
Elk, come! Elk, come!
You know, Sandy could be reaching a little on this one. This less-than-domestic resident of the Western Safari Ranch may be beyond hope. But her trainings do hold true beyond the canine family.
Come! Stop. Sit!
Yes, it's true. These training methods will even work on a pot-bellied pig. They're very intelligent and actually learn quite fast.
Shadow, come! Shadow, come! Shadow, come! Shadow, come! Shadow, come! Shadow, come! Shadow, sit! Shadow, stay!
So remember, using two-word commands, hand motions, and remaining consistent can make training the family dog child's play. On our next tape, we'll discuss how to teach your dog to fetch, to heel while you're walking him, and to stay within a given property line. We'll also give you tips on nutrition, and we'll elaborate on how to make your dog happier through fences and dog doors.
Shadow, stay! Shadow, come! Shadow, sit! Good girl, Shadow! Shadow's a good girl! Shadow's a good girl! Ready, sit. Ready, sit.
Matthew, like this.
Ready, sit.